If you're communicating with a global team or an international colleague, you might be using business English. But what are the best practices for this kind of writing and communication? That's what we'll look at in today's video, Business English 101. We're going to cover top 5 skills in communication for global professionals. My name is Erin Lebacqz. This is High Value Writing. Thank you for being here. Let's take a moment to talk about today's priorities in business comm, and then we'll look at the 5 strategies to make sure that your business English reflects those priorities. Number 1, most professionals around the world right now don't have as much time as they'd like. So there's a new perception about respect, that if you respect my time, you are respecting me. So in our writing, that means we need to make choices about what to include, what order to use, and even sentence structure to make sure our readers get what they need quickly and easily. We also want to arrange material so readers can find what they need and they don't have to wait to get what they need. So that influence of time and busyness on the perception of respect, we're going to look at 5 ways to make that happen in your communication. Also ensuring then that you not only inform your reader, but connect with them. Okay, the first strategy is actually on the sentence level. Arrange your sentences to begin with what matters to your reader. This way, your international reader can see what they care about immediately and know that this message is very relevant for them. So for example, if you're sharing a request for proposals with various vendors that you might employ, I would change the order of what I'm talking about to make sure that vendors is in the beginning, so those vendors see themselves and immediately see the relevance. I would probably not say something like, it is also important for vendors to include a list of services. It is also important for. That's 5 words where nobody is learning anything. That kind of writing is falling out of style, right? People want writing that informs them right away. And if you're writing to a vendor, they're going to see themselves at the top of this next sentence. Vendors should also include a list of services. Immediately know, hey, that's what I need to do in my proposal. Let's look at one more example. Instead of same topic, but let's talk about the proposals. Instead of if you submit your proposal late, it will not be considered. Let's just start with that important concept of late proposals. So you can literally rearrange your sentences to make sure they do not open with a slow lead. Here's more on that. And that they do open with what's very relevant for your reader, so they'll continue reading your message and feel respected that you gave them what they needed right away. All right, secondly, make your message visual. Remember that idea where people are trying to find information quickly. Sometimes we don't always know exactly what our reader wants most, but if we make our message visible, easy to scan, visual, they can look around and find what they need. So I would probably not advise writing in this way, where I've included a complicated list in a paragraph. This is not visual, it's not easy to learn from, it doesn't feel as modern as a result. Next week, our new clients will be visiting and we need copies of our book, our client partner agreement, and also some good coffee and snacks. I'm expecting about 15 people. Can you get these materials ready? Now, this is an important ask or request, but it might not get done if it's not as easy to see what needs to be done. So business English, we are using a lot of bullets, headings, and other formatting tools. So I would probably do, for next week's client visit, please have on hand 15 copies of our book, 5 copies of our agreement, coffee and snacks for 15 people. Make it visual, make it easy to scan or skim. Number 3, not all readers like to get the same amount of context. Some readers want a lot of context. They want to know the whole background. Some readers feel like they can gain that context by other aspects of the conversation or project. And this really varies by country. In some regions, people expect very explicit context. In some regions, people assume we get the context ourselves, right? So what I would do if I didn't know how much context my reader wanted is I would not force context upon them in the beginning of, let's say, an email. So if I'm emailing a coworker and an external partner about an internal project, I need to consider two different levels of knowledge, right? My partner knows a lot about it. The external partner might know less. How will I decide how much context to give? I would not put my paragraphs of context at the beginning because some readers don't want it or don't need it. And then it would bury my main point and my ask. So what I would do instead is I would put my main point and my ask at the top, and then my paragraphs of context under that. They can continue reading if they want or need that context, but they can ignore it if they don't need it, and still they would have learned my point and my ask. So try changing the order, keeping the context for later, or offering the context through hyperlinks so we don't force extra paragraphs on a reader that might make them not finish reading everything we gave them. Number 4, not all regions or industries or generations expect the same level of formality. So when I'm writing in business English and I don't know how formal to be, I will observe what the other person is doing and try to mirror or reflect about that same level of formality. So instead, if I'm answering an email requesting feedback, let's look at how they wrote it, and then that will help me decide how I'm going to write my answer. If they've written, it would be appreciated if you could provide a variety of examples demonstrating X and Y. They're being fairly formal. So instead of writing back something casual, like "thanks for asking, here you go," even though that might be more my style, I will adjust to their level of formality. I appreciate the opportunity to submit feedback and write more in that style. On the other hand, though, if the person I'm writing back and forth with is being informal, I don't want to be overly formal and have a disconnect. So if they write something like, "Can you share some examples? Anytime this week is fine," I feel a little more like I can be more informal myself. So I would not say, "It is my distinct pleasure to," etc. I would instead say, "Yes, please see below." Hi again, quick interruption. Did you know that we have eCourses? Self-paced, take them when you need to. They range from 1 hour to 8 hours, depending on what you pick. You can check out the QR code on the screen, the link down in the description, how to write clearly and concisely, effective email, how to write as a leader, and more. So check those out if you're looking for ways to upskill your business writing on your own time. And finally, in the interest of providing readers what they need and want right away, when you order your ideas, try to flip the script. Don't start with what matters to you. Start with what matters to them. This is seen as respectful in many cultures, and it does protect the reader's time. For example, if I'm emailing a colleague at a different site in a different country anywhere about shared assets for marketing, here's how I might think about the order of my ideas in that email. I'm going to try to choose the order based on what's relevant to my reader. Here's a little more on that. And so, greetings, I might then say, instead of, "I'm working on this, our client is this, here's your assets, here's how to get more, here's the timeline," I'm going to flip and try to begin with everything they need first. Here are your assets and the timeline. Let me tell you about the client. Here's how to request more assets. And finally, what I'm working on. Trying my best to attend to what they find important first. All right, so 5 ways you can respect the time of your colleagues around the world and use modern business English in your communication. One more thing to share. I do have a workbook, the High Value Writing Workbook. It's available as an ebook, a print book, distributed around the world, or a fillable PDF if you go to our website, highvaluewriting.com. Lots of suggestions, 5 chapters on being clear, concise, actionable, 5 chapters on the relationship side of writing, which is so important in business English, building trust, showing respect, managing conflict productively. I hope you'll check it out. Thanks for watching. My name's Erin Lebacqz. Please let me know if you have any questions or leave a comment about what you've experienced when you use business English.